I think I have something to contribute on a higher level. And when we decided to run, not a single person, it seemed, gave us a snowball's chance in heck that we would even be able to compete. But I knew something that all the political power brokers and the people who had the money and the organized special interests, I knew something that they didn't know. I knew about all of you incredible residents in this city who yearn for something different, who want to turn the status quo upside down. And so it was with that hope and that support behind me that I decided to seek this office for the Central Ward. And we had a struggle, as it's now recorded, that we just made the runoff and we ran out of money, and people said, now we have them dead to rights. And when I went to all of the senior citizen places, and you know I don't call you senior citizens, I call you seasoned citizens, because you are blessed with the wisdom and the experience that our generation so desperately needs. But as I went to senior place, and you said, let's give it up for our seniors. And when I went to senior place after senior place after senior place, and they had in the other team, I'm not going to say who that other team was because we're all friends now, but as they pulled up with the big wagons and all the music and the food, the senior said, don't worry about it, baby. We're going to eat their food. We're going to dance to their music. But we're going to vote for you because what I see in you, I see in my grandchild. I see a promise for a different kind of Newark that we made an important investment in, but a Newark that your generation has to start to build on. And so in that runoff election, and it was tough, and it was a hard-fought battle, we won by a whopping 11 votes. By 11 votes, we won. And so now that I have an opportunity of a lifetime, I have an obligation and a commitment to talk to you in a different way and to try to persuade you that the journey that I want to take you on is a journey that we have to go on. We don't have a choice. So it's a journey to take our city to the next level. And so I want to now switch to my prepared remarks, and there's a lot of stuff in there. And so I hope that you listen to what I say, and not as much in the way that it might be delivered, but listen to this proposal that I have to give to all of you tonight. So to our state delegation of elected officials, to our county board of chosen freeholders, to our county executive, Joe DiVincenzo, to Mayor Booker and the senior members of his administration, to my colleagues on the Newark Municipal Council, to the presidents of our universities, Chancellor Yeagle from Rutgers, Interim President Gibson from Essex County College, Dean Hobbs from Seton Hall Law School, President Rogers from UMD&J, President Bloom from NJIT, and President Cortez from Berkeley College. To Director of the Newark Housing Authority, Keith Kennard, to the Director of the Newark Public Library, Will McGray, to the Director of the Newark Museum, Mary Sue Price Sweeney, who I saw here earlier today, to the Chief Executives of our large corporations, to the developers whose projects are transforming the very landscape of the Central Ward, to the committed and hardworking leaders of our community-based organization, to the esteemed religious leaders who provide us with much-needed moral, spiritual, and sustenance and guidance, to the small and large business owners of the Broad Street, Market Street, Springfield Avenue, Halsey Street, Orange Street, and Lower Broad Street commercial corridors, to the principals and school leaders charged with educating our youth and preparing them to compete in a global economy, and especially to Principal Thomas, who has opened up this magnificent school to me and has welcomed me as a member of the Science Park High School family. I also want to congratulate Science Park High School for receiving the prestigious and coveted designation of an international baccalaureate school, one of only a handful of schools in New Jersey to receive this prestigious honor. To an incredible staff that I'm sure I don't deserve. They are hardworking, smart, committed, and most of all, they believe as I do that we can engage and touch our community on a deeper and more personal level. To the 3 candidates for the Newark Public School Advisory Board, Khalil Rashida, A2, Ariana Perillo, A3, and Rashan Hassan, A5. I want you to go claim that victory on April the 16th. And last, but certainly not least, to the amazing Central Ward residents who, with grace, with class, and endurance, continue to press ahead in the face of the difficult challenges they are confronted with on a daily basis. Tonight, I want to talk to you the only way I know how, honestly, directly, and from the heart. Now, traditionally, State of the Union, State of the State, State of the City, and yes, State of the Ward addresses are filled with bold visions, lofty goals, and an element of theater, entertainment, and excitement designed to fire up and inspire the crowd. And although I will do my best to honor at least part of that rich tradition, I will be careful not to ignore or gloss over the challenges we face as a community of citizens and stakeholders. The reason I acknowledged all of you in my introduction is because it will literally take all of us working together in partnerships never assembled or imagined before to create the kind of ward and the kind of city we have been working tirelessly but separately to create. It will take all of us thinking creatively, imaginatively, unconventionally, and cooperatively to solve problems we have never been confronted with before. There is no boilerplate solution or ready-made blueprint to address the challenges we face today. We are truly in uncharted territory without historical precedent. Therefore, we must chart our own course for a better Newark, and in so doing, make our own history that those who follow will honor and respect. And in the struggle to find solutions for our most serious problems, we must be willing to sacrifice in order to do those things that government can't and isn't designed to do, but that are absolutely essential to create a city that respects all of us and that speaks to all of our aspirations. Now, I can easily spend the rest of tonight's State of the Ward address talking about the list of many things our office has accomplished with the mayor and his administration to improve our ward and to move it forward. These accomplishments include transformative economic development projects, such as the $100 million Teachers Village project in Halsey Street, William Street, and the Washington Street area, which will provide over 200 units of rental housing and 67,000 square feet of retail space. Thank you very much, Ron Bate. Or the 56 units of senior housing, 45 townhouses, and 2 small parks that will replace the former drug and crime-ridden Douglas Harrison housing projects. Thank you, Michael's Development. And I saw Diane Johnson over there. Thank you so much, Diane, also. Or the newly renovated world-class CityPlex 12 movie theater that is breaking attendance records by the day, and that over the Easter weekend saw an incredible 8,000 patrons come through its doors. Thank you, Shaquille and Wasim. Or the exquisite 20-unit condominium project on Broad Street and 3rd Avenue that rivals anything to be found in Hoboken, Jersey City, or the Big Apple. Thank you, Maria and Maria, or Eminem. Or Baxter Park South, an amazing affordable housing project on the site of the old and troubled Baxter Terrace. I can't wait until the other phases of that project are rolled out. Thank you, Director Kennard. Or the plaza on Springfield Village, across the street from Dunkin' Donuts, which will provide affordable housing to those who need it the most, our senior citizens and our homeless population. Thank you, Ed Martaglio and New Community. Or the 11,000-acre, $100 million development project a little further down the road on Springfield Avenue, which will include 2 restaurants, 162 units of housing, a bank, and a large, well-known anchor tenant, which will not be Walmart. Thank you, Tucker Construction. All of these projects will result in several hundred construction and permanent jobs and will add millions of dollars of much-needed revenue in the form of payroll and property taxes to our city coffers. And to make sure Newark residents get their fair share of these jobs, I am asking the mayor in this year's budget to beef up the Affirmative Action Office by hiring at least 3 more affirmative action compliance officers. Now, in addition to the projects just mentioned, there are an equal, if not greater, number of projects in the pipelines. All of these projects are in the Central Ward, and I am proud to have worked with the mayor and his talented economic development team to make them possible. Now, my office has also worked extremely hard, given the limited financial resources the city has, to increase the number of police officers, security guards, cameras, speed humps, and other crime-fighting and traffic calming measures in areas of the Central Ward that need them the most. Nothing, and I mean nothing, is more frustrating or heartbreaking than to go to a community meeting and not be able to provide the protection residents deserve because the city doesn't have enough money in its budget. But I assure you, as I've assured the residents in those high-risk areas, that I will do everything in my power to identify the necessary resources to address their important public safety and quality of life concerns. Now, over the last 2.5 years, my office has also worked in partner with more community-based organizations than I can mention in the time we have together tonight. But please allow me to acknowledge some of them for their long-standing and ongoing commitment to the residents of the Central Ward. The Newark Housing Authority's Clubhouse on Spruce and Urban Turner Boulevard, Cura, Integrity House, the Essex County Urban Issues Institute, Prodigal Sons and Daughters, Arts High School, American History High School, Roberto Clemente Elementary School, Vision Academy Charter School, La Casa de Don Pedro, the Lincoln Park Coast Cultural District, Orida International Cultural Center, the Piranha Swim Club, the Masters Swim Club, Trinity Performing Arts Group, Urban Renewal Corporation, the YMCA, Cadillac Alliance, the Greater Newark Conservancy, Cityplex 12 Movie Theater, the Marion P. Thomas Charter School, Newark Beth Israel Hospital, Youth Build, North Star, North Star Academy, Cut Creators, and Newark Collegiate Academy. Let's give them all a round of applause. These organizations, the incredible work these organizations do each day benefit the lives of thousands of residents. But as vital as these organizations are in helping to stabilize and shore up the educational, social, cultural foundations of our ward, they represent a very small percentage of the Central Ward's most important stakeholder, our residents. Residents are the lifeblood that run through the ward, and they are the glue that hold it together. The Central Ward has never been characterized or defined by development projects or social service agencies alone. The Central Ward, or the old Third Ward as it was fondly referred to, was always defined and shaped by the people who lived there, people who valued family, community, and each other, people who worked together and sacrificed for each other, people who understood the most important lessons of history and life, the obligation to pay it forward and the obligation to give back. This is the Central Ward that I'm reminded of when I visit 2 Nevada Street, Court Towers, James C. White Manor, Villa Victoria, Grace West Manor, Baxter Elderly, and Fougier Towers. Now, when I think about today's Central Ward and the younger generation of residents, I wonder if they feel the same sense of duty and obligation our senior citizens felt over 50 years ago. You see, every action that we take, every decision that we make, all 53,000 of us contributes to the molding and shaping of our community, and it impacts the overall quality of our life. To be certain, government absolutely plays an important role, and you should never let it off the hook. But we, the residents, bear the greater responsibility. Every person we say good morning to, every neighbor we provide assistance to, every child we lovingly but firmly chastise for doing the wrong thing, shapes our culture in real time. And so, how we treat each other, being warm or engaging, or being cold, rude, and dismissive, is shaping the kind of city we live in and the kind of city our children will inherit. And please know that there is no piece of legislation I can write to force us to treat each other with the dignity and respect we all deserve as human beings. I've always been honest with you by saying that government neither has the resources nor is equipped to address all of the challenges we face. And politicians who lead you to believe otherwise insult your intelligence and don't have your best interest at heart. So the question we must answer as a community is whether or not we're prepared to be our brother's keepers, or whether or not we're going to concede that important responsibility to someone else. Now, I think in the hustle and bustle of our daily lives, and with all of the crazy things going on around us, we feel powerless, and we feel there is little we can do to change our conditions. But we possess an awesome power, a power that doesn't flow from the government or a grant from a foundation. This power that all of us have is the power to act, the power to share, and the power to give. Newark is sleeping on its most valuable but underutilized resource, its residents. Every person has a special talent, skill, or gift that they own and can contribute as much as they want. It truly is an inexhaustible resource. And similarly, every institutional stakeholder, such as our corporations and universities, control not only millions of dollars of financial resources, they also have the ability to influence the action of thousands of their employees and can encourage them to donate their time and their talents to many of the important projects and programs that need their support. So the question that we should be asking ourselves, and the one that should stay in the forefront of our mind, is what kind of Central Ward and what kind of Newark are we capable of creating simply by volunteering our time, our talent, and our resources on a consistent basis? If everyone in the Central Ward woke up tomorrow and made a commitment to volunteer just 1 hour a week, we literally would create a revolution and change the Central Ward in a profound and a lasting way. If not us, then who? If not now, then when? Contrary to what some people think, the Central Ward is blessed with an embarrassment of riches. Many of these services and resources, however, are scattered all over the place, unknown to residents who need them the most. And even more resources lay dormant. ready and waiting to be reconfigured or reassembled as a result of a newly created partnership or collaboration. So what we have today is residents who need resources, not connecting with the organizations that provide those resources. These two groups are like ships that continue to pass in the night. The challenge then is to design a system and process that can more effectively and efficiently connect the need to the resource. In an effort to accomplish this ambitious goal, I have partnered with a team of computer programmers from NGIT and the private sector to develop an easy-to-use web-based tool that individuals and families can use to find the services that they need. And for families that don't have a computer or internet access in their home, they will be able to use the computers in their neighborhood schools or community organizations. We hope to launch this tool in November of this year. But because families need information right now, we are gearing up to hit the streets. We are looking for volunteers to join our growing army of community ambassadors that, during the spring, the summer, and the fall, will be knocking on as many doors as we can, not for campaign commitments or votes, but to provide information to the residents about the important services they might be missing. This is the community engagement opportunity I am offering to you tonight. You know, most of what we accomplish in our daily lives is the result of some kind of partnership. Great developments get built through partnerships between bankers, contractors, architects, and engineers. Our kids graduate from high school and go on to college and being able to be successful through partnerships between parents, caregivers, teachers, guidance counselors, and supportive communities, and streets and neighborhoods that become more stable, active, and vibrant over time do so because of partnerships between community organizations, government, and most importantly, residents. So if it takes partnerships to do all of these things, it will take the mother of all partnerships to create a ward that we can take to the next level and make it stable over time. These are the partnerships that can be created by all of the stakeholders that I mentioned in my beginning remarks. The problems that we face in this city have been decades, if not generations, in the making. They will not be solved by the wink of an eye or the wave of a magic wand. They will only be solved by doing the tedious, unglamorous, but necessary work of strengthening our ward, street by street and neighborhood by neighborhood. The short video you saw tonight highlighted 4 initiatives my office has worked very hard to create. Combined, they have benefited thousands of residents. None of these programs would have been possible without the volunteer efforts and contributions of committed people and organizations. All of the programs are examples of concrete partnerships. And most important of all, in a small but significant way, these programs address one of the most profound challenges of our city and our lifetime: the human development of an at-risk population that is getting larger and larger by the day. A population that includes children that are abandoned, abused, and discarded by their parents. A population of youth that without our love, nurturing, and guidance turn into hardened criminals that will take a life without the slightest thought of the consequences. A population of adults who wander on our streets like the walking dead, poorly educated and jobless with no hope for a better life and no hope for a better future. These are our brothers, and we are their keepers. These are the people who stand to benefit from the partnerships we can and we must create. My vision is to establish learning communities in every school in the Central Ward, in convenient walking distance from the residents who live in the surrounding areas. My vision is to have computer centers in every building, like the one we established in New Hope Village, where residents can access the computer and internet resources they need. My vision is to convert every single vacant lot in the Central Ward into a beautiful community garden or pocket park where residents can have a place to socialize, fellowship, and talk about the things they can do to improve their community. We did 3 lots with Kean University and the community last year. Our goal is to do 100 more this spring, summer, and fall. But my vision will only become a reality with your help. You have the power to volunteer to teach a class in our learning community right here in Science Park High School. And you have the power to fill up every class by registering your family, friends, and neighbors. You have the power to volunteer to teach computer literacy classes at our computer center at New Hope Village. And you have the power to help us establish new ones at Garden Spires, Oscar Miles, Winona Lippman Gardens, and St. James Towers. You have the power to adopt a city-owned lot in your neighborhood. And with the help of Kean University, Youth Build, and the residents on your block, you have the power to transform it into a beautiful pocket park or community garden. Each and every day, through God's grace, I'm allowed to spend another day on this glorious planet. And each day I wake up, I dream about the amazing partnerships that can be created. Big partnerships, little partnerships, and everything in between. Partnerships between developers like Teachers Village and Kean University. Partnerships between RPM Development and the Greater Newark Charter School. And partnerships between M&M Development, the Urban Issues Institute at Essex County College, Newark Public Schools, and CityPlex 12 Movie Theater. Quietly but systematically, we have created dozens of these partnerships throughout the Central Ward and have provided services to every demographic of our diverse population. We are currently working to establish a partnership between the Newark Public Schools, NJIT's Department of Bioengineering, and Panasonic that will help children with physical disabilities. These are the kind of partnerships or investments that over time will change the trajectory of our community. One of my most memorable and gratifying partnerships involved working with a group of parents, students, and administrators at Harriet Tubman School. They had been frustrated for years because they could not get a playground built at their school. They had been going back and forth between the city of Newark and the Newark Public Schools trying to find out who was responsible for completing the project. As I listened to their historical accounts of who was supposed to do what, it reminded me of that famous Abbott and Costello skit, who's on first and what's on second. But rather than yelling and screaming or cursing the dark, Harriet Tubman organized a small group of representatives who contacted my office. Through several meetings and telephone conversations, we identified the issues and challenges and put together a plan of action. After several meetings and letters, the Newark Public Schools transferred the money and the property to the City Hall so we can construct the playground. On the construction of the playground, we had several meetings in City Hall to think of things like the lighting and the playground equipment that would go on the playground. Where the school had been struggling for at least 5 years to complete the project, we were able to get it done in a few months. I will never forget the ribbon-cutting ceremony. The smiles on the faces of the children almost brought tears to my eyes. And the look of satisfaction and accomplishment the parents and administrators had on their face confirmed something that I had already known. And that was that there was nothing that we couldn't do by working together and by having the patience and the commitment to see something through from start to finish. With all of the challenges we face and what seems at times to be an impossible deck stacked against us, I have no fears or doubts about whether or not we will be successful